I don't go to sleep, I put in work. Yeah, came up from the bottom, from the dirt. Hey, never out in second, I'm in first. Yeah, diamonds on my head like Uzi Vert. Yeah, you not from the city, you would twerk. I hop up on this bitch and go berserk. Walk up in the spot, they on alert. You say you want the smoke, I brought the perk. Look, I just woke up and I'm ready. I just woke up and I get it. They wanna talk all that shit to the chopper, turn their ass right into spaghetti. Vision ain't lame and it's heavy. I'm going up and it's steady. I don't hold a grudge, I ain't petty, yeah.
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors.
The previous Leon feels the need to remind me of Mando falling into an underwater hole and Bo-Katan doing a belly flop. I kind of feel like all the courage and skill I'd given them credit for is actually just a proprietary blend of Beskar steel and plot armor.
He starts out this sin seeming like he's complaining about the previous Leon segment, but then randomly switches to complaining about Beskar and plot armor. I'm not even necessarily saying I would disagree with either sin, but at least make up your mind.
Understanding this armor is very tricky. Sometimes it does it all, and other times it does nothing and lets water in to almost drown you.
Yeah, it's not meant to be used underwater. It's not that hard to understand. I mean, Discount Jeremy provides 0 other examples of when Beskar has been confusing, so I can't just blindly accept this assertion.
Bathed in the living waters.
Cool, he did the thing! But I'd really love to know why they're called the Living Waters and what makes them so special. Good thing we have this whole episode to really dive into the neat lore.
See, this sin is really weird because if we did spend this episode diving into the lore behind the Living Waters, you complain about it being boring and skip a bunch of it. But when the show spares us from all that unnecessary exposition, you sin it anyway.
See something?
You just did, right there. That was your question. I swear that joke was funnier when my third grade math teacher used it. Or maybe that just contributed to my paranoid nature, always expecting gotchas from everyone I meet.
I'd invite you in for a feast, but I'm guessing that helmet isn't coming off again.
And I just realized how limited Mandalorians are during sexy time. Now it just seems like a depressing cult, especially for the Mandalesbians.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sexual joke that isn't funny cliche.
Gunned off a lot of Imperial warlords.
That sounds just vague enough to cover the writers for not wanting to show or explain the origin of this surprise attack.
Right, because this show is called The Mandalorian in reference to Din, not Bo-Katan's crazy adventures.
Are you still up for the transfer?
I don't see any other choice.
The episode confirms that these helmets do in fact obscure your vision.
Not a scratch.
Nobody likes a bragger, Mando. I bet you're a real hoot to play Halo with.
Discount Jeremy makes a Halo reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Mudscuffers bombed my home.
This is a big character moment for Bo-Katan, who's now lost 2 homes to bombings by the Empire. And it's all ruined by the word mudscuffers. This is catastrophic for such a war-weary fighter, losing the last shred of home she had left. She's not Leia getting angry at Han and Chewie for comedic effect.
I actually 100% agree with you here. Her using that silly-ass word in a situation that should have been emotionally devastating for her character was really stupid.
Also, simply adding another syllable would have gotten you closer to the target, mutterscuffers.
Discount Jeremy double dips cliche.
That's a lot of ships for an Imperial warlord.
I agree. You should show us where they all came from so we can get a better idea of what you're all up against and why.
I haven't seen the entirety of this season yet, but I'm willing to give the show the benefit of the doubt and hope that they do explain this eventually. Discount Jeremy is complaining that the show isn't immediately answering every single question he has, which is dumb because it's a show. It's supposed to explain things over time, not all at once in a massive exposition dump.
Sending jump coordinates.
Wait, jumping away was an option the entire time? Way to render the freaking cool dogfight scenes completely pointless. If they had jumped away before leading the TIE interceptors back to Kalevala, Bo might still have that big uncomfortable looking chair.
No. They destroyed that first set of TIE fighters because they didn't know there were so many more. It was the second wave that bombed her home. Din and Bo were just trying to defend the castle by engaging in that dogfight. They're clear to make the jump now because there's nothing left to defend.
Welcome to Coruscant, the planet of over 1 billion phallic-looking buildings.
Discount Jeremy says, well, phallic, which isn't technically the same as boner, but is still worth 10 sins, damn it.
This is so cool. There's so many possibilities here. Is Grogu gonna get to explore the ruins of the Jedi Temple? Wait, where are Mando and Bo-Katan?
Okay, so this is a pretty common criticism of this show, that The Mandalorian doesn't spend a lot of its time with The Mandalorian. Regardless of whether or not you enjoy these other plotlines, he's already complained about this, so this is Discount Jeremy double dipping.
My work explored was the hopes of combining multiple strands to create replicas that incorporated the best genetic attributes of both donors.
What is the thesis of this TED Talk? At first it sounded like it had something to do with the amnesty program.
The amnesty program saved my life.
But now he's talking about his research. Oh, wait, it's about exposition, isn't it?
It could just be him explaining what he did for the Empire and how he would like to contribute to the New Republic.
So anything would be comfortable compared to the Outer Rim.
That's Outer Rimist. I've heard exploring the Outer Rim can be nice if you're willing to give it a chance, Pershing.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sexual joke that isn't funny cliche.
Empire, Rebels, New Republic, I can't keep track.
So say we all. Wait, is this not Battlestar?
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Did this franchise finally show me how people don't fall out of these things like all the time, or why no one's hair looks windswept when they get to their destination?
Agree with the windswept hair part, not with the falling out. What are you, 5 years old? You can't sit still enough to not fall out of a speeder? Have a good evening.
So when Mando said someplace they won't find us, he wasn't referring to the Empire, but the rest of the episode itself? Are Mando and Grogu coming back anytime soon? This is like Elaine and Jerry bailing on dinner with Peterman and leaving George stuck in the meal. The writers made
Uniform did fit better. I do miss the lights of hyperspace.
Episode reminisces about the good old days for all of the sometime.
Discount Jeremy points things out on the screen for only a little bit of the sometime, but it's still a sin.
Because of this, Coruscant is one of only a handful of city planets known as an ecumenopolis.
Trying to sneak this world-building exposition into the episode like we'd want to know more about the universe.
Discount Jeremy complains about exposition for no reason cliche.
I'll give this sci-fi door points for not being a whoosh, but a zhung is still super annoying. Imagine the cacophony that must engulf this apartment block every morning during rush hour.
Everything wrong with The Mandalorian, ladies and gentlemen. An electric door made a noise.
The asshole who still has their job after programming this droid to just haphazardly run into people.
The pointless bullshit Discount Jeremy inexplicably feels the need to talk about.
So why not continue your research here?
I don't think it's something the New Republic would be interested in.
If they're not interested, then why did they have you talking about it in front of 50 million people earlier? They had graphics queued up and everything.
Like I said, it was most likely because he was talking about his past experience with the Empire to provide context about his current position in the amnesty program. It's not that complicated.
Live a little, Doc. It's not the Empire.
No, but there are still rules, right? If I go to the Field Museum in Chicago...
Skip.
I think feeling the tragedy wrapped in this utopia is going to squeeze another sin removal out of me. But also, squeezing anything out of me is a sin.
Discount Jeremy makes what I can only assume was a cringy sexual joke that isn't funny cliche.
Elia did say the New Republic needed help, but I don't think fair evasion was so complex that the scientists of Coruscant were still working the problem.
Throwaway Sin, whose sole purpose is to pad the sin count and runtime of the video.
Pershing is staring at people like this is the first time he's ridden the New York City subway. Did he see no other species on the Outer Rim?
Pershing was an Imperial scientist. He's almost definitely seen other species, but most likely not this one. Remember, the Empire was super biased and discriminatory against non-humans, so it would make sense for Pershing's experience with other species to be limited.
Thongs days, am I right?
The writers make this saying a universal constant, and I hate them for it.
Everything wrong with the convert, ladies and gentlemen. A different galaxy than ours has different days of the week than us.
Do it.
Why are they being allowed to do it? Show wants me to believe that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, they had their own Mondays, am I right? But they didn't have an OSHA, an FAA, or whomever's responsibility it would be to prevent people from falling to their death off this thing.
Man, it's really easy to come up with sins when you can just cut out all context from the show. They're not allowed to do this. In fact, they end up getting chased by the security droid because he sees them doing this.
Sneaking into a salvage yard on Coruscant to steal something from a decommissioned Imperial ship? What you're actually stealing is from this season of Bad Batch.
Discount Jeremy claims that something is a ripoff of something else just because there's one small similarity ex machina.
We've spent most of the past 10 minutes watching these two walking and talking in public transportation.
Skip.
What? You mean she was gonna betray him all along? This changes everything. How will the Star Wars universe go forward from...
It really seems like the TVSins writers draw straws to determine which storylines they're going to call boring. It's completely random, because 90% of the things they call boring aren't actually boring.
You'll see some pleasant colors, hear a light buzzing, and experience a great sense of relief in no time at all.
If that's your goal, why not just get him some weed? You've basically just described every afternoon right before I record this narration. I mean, when I get done recording this narration.
Oh my god, this would have been a genuinely funny joke if he had stopped after the first line. Seriously, just saying the thing about getting him some kush would have actually been pretty funny, but you just had to ruin it by extending the joke. Jesus Christ, the fact that he had a golden opportunity and completely fumbled it deserves 10 sins.
He brought me there. It was a trap.
Okay, they did do a good job with this one.
Oh, they finally remembered who the main character was. This was a very strange episode of The Mandalorian.
Discount Jeremy double dips cliche.
We'll go smoother if you keep your helmet on. Trust me.
The entirety of my father's Birds and the Bees talk somehow makes it into the episode.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sexual joke that isn't funny cliche.
Oh boy, I'm glad we're back to the main story so we can now watch Mandalorians do some walking. Well, everyone has to walk sometimes. Can't all be rocket packs, space battles, and blaster fights. It's an important and necessary... Oh, for the love of Grogu, come on, guys! This episode had so many cool things in it. It could have been a contender. It could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what it is, let's face it.
Discount Jeremy really hates important character moments. The reason there's so much walking and slow build-up here is because it's a very meaningful moment for Din. He's been all about redemption for a while now, so this makes total sense if you've been paying attention. Oh, wait.
Are indeed the living waters.
All that walking just to watch the armorer test the pH balance of some water.
Jesus Christ, what did I just say?
The state of Florida has asked us to disclose our sexual crimes to you. We were bad, but now we're good. We're moving into your neighborhood. You know we're trying our best to be functioning members of society.